everybody, and welcome to Time Warner Cable Sports and a very special presentation of the Pink Zone preview. Joining me now to talk about this and to talk about the Pink Zone game, women's head coach Gina Caselli. Okay, Coach, first things first, this game is Friday, February 25th at Siena against Marist. Obviously a big one because Marist is leading the MAC right now. But what makes this game, the Pink Zone game, so special?
Well, first of all, it's great that Time Warner would want to present a show for us. And, you know, the Pink Zone game started 11 years ago, and it's in honor of breast cancer awareness, breast cancer survivors. And for us here at Siena, we've donated all of the proceeds back to Capital Region Action Against Breast Cancer, which is a local organization that was started by a professor at Siena who lost her battle to cancer in 2004.
Now, you started this while she was still alive, right?
Yeah,
and it was kind of, you guys had worked together.
Yeah, it was interesting. Dr. Pat Brown was in a sense, a pioneer at Siena. She was one of the first female professors there, and she was an excellent science professor, and she developed breast cancer. And at one meeting or an event that I was at, we started talking, and she said, hey, you know, she told me all about Capital Region Action Against Breast Cancer and how, I believe it was about 12 women that started this organization on research and education and support for breast cancer survivors. And I looked at her, and I knew at the time, you know, coaches started banding together and providing their games as a platform to bring awareness to breast cancer. And I asked her, I said, if there's anything that I could do to help you, you know, I'd certainly love to use one of our games, you know, to help support your organization. So about 2 or 3 days later, she emailed me, and she said, you know, I really, I was thinking about what you said, and, you know, I found something online that the University of Maryland did, and I'd like to talk to you about it. So she came through, and it just really started so simple, you know, that we were going to, you know, have a game to honor breast cancer awareness, and with all of or most of the proceeds going back to Capital Region Action Against Breast Cancer, and that we would wear pink ribbons, and we would do something at halftime to educate the community on breast cancer awareness. And it was awesome. You know, we, even that game, I remember we played Fairfield. It was a great event. It was, I believe it was 2001 was the first year we did it, and it was also the year that we won the championship. So it was just a great year overall. And we had over 1,000 fans at the game, and we raised a good amount of money, you know, for that year, the first year in doing so. But what was really nice before we did the game, Pat Brown was such a great teacher. I had asked her if she could educate our players on breast cancer awareness, so she had us in one of her classes. And it was amazing, honestly. You know, she had talked to us all about, you know, how breast cancer can arrive, and you know what we need to do in prevention. And there was just so many things that she talked about to me that hadn't been talked about up until now. You know, how she felt about mammograms and where breast cancer is more prevalent. And I just thought she was so, you know, educated and just real, in a sense, you know, kind of a risk taker. She just went out and really tried to get grants for Capital Region Action Against Breast Cancer, tried to get, you know, just more awareness and more education. And then she started a breast cancer class at Siena, which to me was amazing too, for as part of the science program. And then we just kept it going, and it's just gotten bigger and bigger and bigger. And you know, I can't thank the people in the community enough now that just have jumped on board and, you know, helped us even more.
Did you think at the beginning it would get as big as it did? I mean, you say it's gotten bigger and bigger. And just for people out there who don't maybe understand it, we're not talking about a couple $100s here. What did you guys raise last year? $12,000?
It was over 15.
I mean, that's unbelievable for a local, you know, smaller college to do something like that.
Well, you know, I don't know what I envisioned really for the game. I just knew that, wow, the first game was just really amazing, and we can make this bigger, and we can, you know, and that's exactly what happened. So right after the game, Pat Brown came right up to me. She goes, "This was incredible." And we were both like, "Oh my God, look at how big this is." And I think about it, I still get chill bumps, thinking about it, because we were both like, "Wow, this could be really big." And so, little by little, we met again, next year, and it was just her and I, and we had our, little ideas, and what about this, what about that, and and slowly but surely, we started to think of different things. And the idea of the breast cancer parade came about when we were at a game at Niagara, and they had brought out 2 breast cancer survivors for their Pink Zone game. And I thought, wow, I knew how I felt just seeing a couple players bring out a couple survivors, and I thought that would be really neat if we could do that at Siena. So I mentioned it to Pat Brown, what do you think? And we started doing that, and that to me is really what makes that event so great, is just to see all these women, that have survived breast cancer from 5 months to 30 years. And, for any breast cancer survivor that's in the stand, I think it really gives you a lot of hope, that, hey, that I'm a 5-month survivor, but look at that 30-year survivor. There's a lot out there. There's been a lot of research, and, a lot has been done for me to survive.
Gina Caselli, can you hang out for a little bit? We've got a couple of stories, but then we want to talk to you more about the game taking on Marist and how you guys have done in years past in this game.
Excellent.
Thank you so much for joining us. We'll catch up with Coach Caselli in just a little bit, but coming up after the break, we've got some very emotional and moving stories. You're not going to want to miss it. Keep it tuned here on Time Warner Cable Sports.
The Siena Pink Zone Preview Show is brought to you by KeyBank. KeyBank, unlock your possibilities. And by Time Warner Cable. Welcome to the next generation.
What if a bank did more than take care of your money and took the time to take care of what's really important? Unlock your possibilities. Stop into your nearest KeyBank.
Yeah, my grandmother got diagnosed with breast cancer almost a year ago, and she was older, so she's still fighting through chemo and stuff, but she's doing great, and she's had good marks so far, but she's still fighting it today.
About a year ago, my grandma was diagnosed with breast cancer, and it was kind of tough because she was living with us at the time, and we all got like really close to her, and it was kind of hard to hear, but I mean, the support of the family really helped her get through it. I mean, she had surgery and everything, and was able to get past it. But I mean, it was tough. But our family came together and really helped her get through it, and helped each other get through it.
Last year was my first year, and we had a great turnout and a great crowd. And there was so much energy in the gym, and I think it was just great that everyone was out there to support a cause and to find a cure for breast cancer. And it helped us, and we played really well. So I think all the energy and everything helped us a lot.
We walk out, the survivors, and the lady I walked out was just so happy, like so enthusiastic about being there, and just like when everyone was cheering her on when she was walking out, it was like a really good feeling. And it's like, I'm walking someone out who's battled such a harmful disease for so long, and here she is just like on top of the world right now. Like it was her moment.
I was great because all of the survivors had different years, and they were just so enthusiastic, and they were just so happy, and it just showed that they were great people and like strong people to survive breast cancer. So they were like role models for all of us.
With these breast cancer games, it's like, I always remind myself, always count your blessings. Like, there's always people out there that have it tougher than you, and the fact that we're so blessed with this, with the scholarship and everything, it's really something that we need to be proud of and, be happy about, so.
Welcome back to the Pink Zone Preview here on Time Warner Cable Sports. We just heard a couple of heartfelt stories from 2 of the Siena women's basketball players. And now I'm joined by 2 very special guests, Jenna Placke, a standout soccer player at Siena, and her mom, Dawn, a breast cancer survivor. Dawn, let's start with you. Take us through your story when you were diagnosed and where you're at now.
Okay. I'm a 2.5-year breast cancer survivor. And I've always been a very healthy, active person, and went for my annual mammography, and to get the call that you never think is going to be you is very frightening and overwhelming. But fortunately, with the love and support of my family, I realized that being detected early and having a great prognosis, I was very blessed and fortunate.
Now, Jenna, what was this like for you? I'm sure it was difficult, and as your mom said, she had the support of the family there.
It was probably one of the hardest things I've personally had to ever deal with, because my mom and I are really close, but I think this has even made us closer. It was hard. Initially, it was so hard, and but then I saw how strong she was, and my dad, my brother, and I, we all just knew that we had to be strong for her as well.
What is it like for you now, 2.5 years later?
It's really given me a new perspective on life, just to live every day to your fullest potential and not taking anything or anyone for granted.
Now, Dawn, you had said you were a part of the game, or you watched the game last year. You were there, you saw it.
Yes.
Now, this year, a little bit different. You're going to be a part of that parade. How did that all come about?
Well, it was basically Jenna's idea, and she encouraged me to do it, and she made the contact for me, and it's just going to be quite an honor to be part of that ceremony.
Now, Jenna, you've been there before, but what do you think it'll be like to have your mother be part of that?
I think it'll be 10 times more special just to have her there and have her recognized and be able to say, like, oh, that's my mom.
Now, I'm sure a lot of the teams that you've played on, I'm sure you've done something, whether it be wear pink or raise money for a certain cause, but have you ever seen anything like this?
I really haven't. I mean, I've been involved. I wore pink shoelaces for soccer games, but I've never really been involved in such a big ceremony like this.
And Dawn, I think when I was in high school, and it wasn't that long ago, this wasn't really that much of a big thing where teams would wear pink or do things like this. Just talk about, you know, how far it's come with athletics and cancer, that these teams are getting involved and trying to make a difference.
Right. I just think it's a wonderful thing, and it brings so much awareness and support to the community about breast cancer. And hopefully all this awareness, support, and with technology, they'll find a cure someday soon for breast cancer.
And as a breast cancer survivor yourself, what is the message to other women out there? You're a very young woman yourself. Right. To have to be diagnosed with something like this, it can hit you at any age.
It absolutely can. You never know what's around the corner, but I would encourage all women to get their annual mammography. Don't put it off. It could literally save your life.
And you had said you're going to be part of the ceremony this year. You didn't want to do it last year. And Jenna kind of pushed you a little bit.
Right, right. I just think you need sometimes a little time to be able to emotionally deal with a diagnosis of cancer, and so I think time helps, and I'm ready to take part this year.
And Jenna, just kind of put it into perspective for us. Obviously, this is your mom, and this is what she's dealing with, but I'm sure that you've got other friends who are dealing with the same sorts of things. I mean, it's unfortunate that we have to deal with so many women dealing with this.
I mean, it really is unfortunate, but I think as you look at it in like a whole perspective, it really does make you a stronger person, and it really makes you count your blessings and everything and be thankful for whatever you have in your life.
Jenna Placke and Dawn Placke, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it, and we'll see you at the game.
Thank you
for having us.
We'll be right back after this.
Inside again with the right hand off the window for two. Close basket, and the Saints now lead by 9. Great defense by Alvin, and a great win for the Green Day. Shot good! Puts the Ducksmen back on top. Rebound in front, Pologic, he scores. Chase Pologic gives the Engineers a 2-goal lead.
Tune in for women's college basketball when Siena takes on Marist. Live February 25th.
I'm Siena.
I am Siena.
I am Siena.
I am Siena.
I am Siena.
Siena College offers an exceptional private education with a unique foundation of liberal arts, career preparation, and Franciscan values.
What if a bank did more than take care of your money and took the time to take care of what's really important? Unlock your possibilities. Stop into your nearest Key Bank.
Welcome back to the Pink Zone Preview. Here's a look at the date for the game that we've been talking about all show long. February 25th at the Arc. Siena is taking on Marist, and it's all to benefit Capital Region Action Against Breast Cancer, or CRAB. And joining us now is the CRAB president, Joan Sheehan. Joan, thank you for taking some time out to join us. First things first, how big of a role does this game, the Pink Zone game with Siena, play in what you do year-round?
This is probably the biggest event that we have. We're very much into exercise and things that promote exercise. You know, we might have what's called a skeet shoot. We'll have golf, we'll have tennis. But this basketball game is a way to highlight survivorship, and we honor those survivors that have really gone through a struggle. And so we take time out to honor them, but that's first and foremost in our minds. And then raising money for our organization is a must, because for not-for-profits, the money is drying up very fast.
When this started, however many years ago, with Pat Brown and Gina Caselli and yourself, did you ever think that you would get to the point where now we're talking about this game and the goal is $20,000?
Right. Last year was the first year that Gina Caselli wanted to really ratchet this up, because it was the 10th year to have this game. And so it was started with a reception beforehand, and then sponsorships were added, and we were able to bring people in on the honorary committee. The ceremony stayed the same, though. It was, you know, really honoring the survivors, where they came on court with the players and their survivorship was honored. But for us, this has certainly been a big turnout for us, and especially bringing about the amount of money that we could raise for our organization.
Well, Joan, you had mentioned the parade and the survivors, and that is clearly what this is about. Have you ever been a part of something or seen something at an athletic event that kind of mirrors this and that looks like this? Because we've been covering sports for a while here, and I've never seen anything like this.
No, I mean, from a very sports-minded family. My husband was a basketball coach, and I've gone to so many sporting events. I've never seen anything like this. And so this really, really pleases me that we can use this as an awareness. Yes, they're in pink uniforms, we're wearing pink, but it's not the commodity. We're not trying to sell something, we're just trying to bring about awareness, which is what this game does.
You are one of the founders of CRAB, a great organization in this area. How did you get involved, and then how did everything get involved with Siena?
Well, I am a 24-year breast cancer survivor myself, and when the idea of starting an organization, a grassroots organization from the ground up, was started by Pat Brown at Siena, a professor at Siena, and Bonnie Spagna, a professor at Albany. They actually did outreach to people in the community, and as a survivor, I was conducting a support group for lymphedema patients. That's a side effect of having breast cancer. And so I was invited to come, and I thought, this is exactly, you know, where I belong. Right after I had been diagnosed, though, I became very involved, because when you think about 24 years ago, I did not know one person that had breast cancer. And now, of course, I know too many, unfortunately. But I found a place for myself, a place where breast cancer survivors could be helped on the local level, that we can provide services to them, that it's a lot of one-on-one or classes that we provide. But I think that this was a good fit for me, and so I was grateful to be invited.
Joan, I think there are a lot of people who get involved with organizations like this and with causes like this, but when you talk about Gina Caselli, she's talked the talk and she's walked the walk throughout her time being involved with this, hasn't she?
Yes, she has. I don't think that this game would have the magnitude that it does have without her behind us. She really took this on as a cause. She and Pat Brown were very good friends, and she just took friendship to a different height, where she said, "Let me help you." And she just didn't just say, "Let me help you," she did.
As a survivor yourself, and we've had the chance to talk to some survivors and family members, what is it like to go to that game and to be part of it and to watch the pregame parade and to look out into the crowd and see a packed house, everybody wearing pink?
Right. That really is an amazing thing to see. I get heart palpitations when I see that. It's still, I still get very emotional over something like that. A lot of times the people that are being honored, I have met through the classes that we have. I might have a personal relationship with some of the people, so that just to see them grow from their diagnosis when they thought their world was over to the fact that they have their treatment behind them and they're looking forward to their life cancer-free means a great deal to me.
Joan Sheehan, president of CRAB, thank you so much for coming out and joining us, and thank you for all you do for the community. It's greatly appreciated.
I appreciate being here.
And one more time, that game is against Marist, February 25th. Get out, support CRAB, and support Siena women's basketball. I'm Marist Jacks. We'll be right back.
The Siena Pink Zone Preview Show is brought to you by KeyBank. KeyBank, unlock your possibilities. And by Time Warner Cable. Welcome to the next generation.
And don't forget, there's a look at this game coming up Friday, February 25th at the Arc over in Loudonville against Marist. Come out, get your tickets. We're going to try and sell out the Arc for this one.
That's right.
Welcome back to the Pink Zone Preview. I'm Marissa Jacks, joined one more time by women's head coach Gina Caselli. Coach Caselli, thanks for sticking around to talk to us. Let's talk about the game now very quickly. You guys have Marist coming up. I know you want some revenge there. Marist, the top team in the league right now, but you got to feel like the inspiration behind all of these events can definitely make you guys get this win.
Yeah, definitely. We've had a lot of success in the Pink Zone games, and I think it's really great for our players because our focus is different. We really concentrate more on what the game's about versus who we're playing. I think against a team like Marist, it's really important. It's just, sometimes you can get focused on, that top team versus, just focusing on the team or focusing on what really just happened just before that.
And the girls, as you said, do seem to always respond well to this. And it's tough. It's difficult, having been there and having watched them, to not get overly emotional, but just kind of to find the balance and play on that.
Yeah, it reminds me a little bit like senior day. It really does become an emotional event, but it's positive emotion, and none of the girls, I think, take it to that much of an extreme where they can't play. I hope that doesn't happen, but I like the fact that they can put their heart out there. I think that's really important. That we see how inspiration all those women are for us.
What is the message to some survivors, breast cancer and other cancers, who are watching this game?
I would say, and I'm not one to really, they've been through so much, so one is a message of gratitude, for, being an inspiration to us. Also another is hope. We hope that we're encouraging them, to stick with it even when the times are tough, and that's probably the biggest thing, just thanks for the inspiration, but as well as we hope that we can give them inspiration, from this game, and to all the people that support us. I think support is so important regardless of whether it's for an event or for a friend, and I think that's the other piece to this. If we can come out and really just support each other in this game, it says a lot about you as a person, and it says a lot about what support does for someone else.
Well, Gina, I just want to speak on behalf of everybody here at Time Warner Cable Sports and everybody out there who follows you guys. We really appreciate you taking the time to do this, because it's not something that you have to do. It's something that you guys want to do every year, and we appreciate the amount of money and the amount of awareness that you guys raise for this. So thank you very much.
I appreciate it, and I'm just so grateful to everybody here. The people here at Time Warner have been just fantastic to me and to our program, and to do this is just is a great honor.
Thank you to Gina Caselli and all our guests today. The Pink Zone Preview. The game will be February 25th against Marist. Get out, get your tickets. We're going to sell at the Arc. Thanks for watching.